I don't know if we want to talk about the women as well, because
Okay.
there's the other side where, yes, Melissa Jefferson is signed. There's still three more names, but I mean, are we looking at one name that we need to make sure is on the roster there as well?
Well, right now they only have one name. So let's I know where you're going, but let's before we go there, I want to dial it back on this. Because when it comes to the lineup, they have Sydney. They started there. So let's
That was a
start
start.
there.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Because she is this very unique experience in the track and field world because she is the name at what she does. And I would even argue she's the name in track and field. And I think I've made that case well enough on my channel. But it's weird because again, we're seeing the Usain Bolt effect, but we're not seeing it in the events that people want to see it. So as a result, it's almost like it don't matter who you put in that lineup.
Mhm.
That's how I feel. Like it don't matter if she's in it. Like, okay, if she's not in it, we're watching a JV race. And if she is in it, we're watching her outclass the JV race. That's how it feels. Now, tell me I'm missing something.
Man, I feel you. I guess I'm thinking like Sydney is obviously in a massive class of, I think 2 points. Sydney is in a massive class of her own in terms of like talent. So, and she's pushed specifically the 400 hurdles to a level that's like no one is touching her, right? And she does have that star power that's like it's an interesting star power because it's not like a Usain Bolt who's like on the track, he's finishing races, he's like engaging, he's doing all these kind of things. He's like the guy, right? Sydney is different, right? The way that she markets herself and she has that extreme, talent, but she's a lot more reserved. So that is a massive draw. And I think people are going to come to see Sydney. And then the residual effect will be, okay, we have, the other athletes as well. So we want to come and see them, who are also super high quality. I'm like a purist where it's like, I don't know, Shamir Little is one of the racers and she's run 52.3 in the 400 hurdles. Jasmine Jones has run 52.2. Like to me, they're like super high quality, but there is levels when we're talking about Sydney, both in quality and star power. So
But
I can agree with that.
see, this is I mean, there's no it might as well be this moment where I'm going to say this part. The issue with, and I say the issue, and again, I might be crazy for saying this, but guess what? It's only crazy till everybody else realizes that the athletes you just mentioned, like a Shamir Little, super amazing talent, and the world will never be able to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because as long as we're looking to celebrate athletes in individual events for out of this world performances, we won't be able to appreciate athletes who are amazing at multiple events, even if they can't necessarily give you the nobody in the world has ever run this
Yeah.
time. And like, that's fine. Tell that to all the college coaches because that's not what they need. They need 10 points and then they need 10 more and then they need 10 more.
Yeah.
Or fine, give me six, six, and six. That's 18. Like whatever it is. So when you shift away from a model that allows us to, cause like Sydney might be, she might be here. And let's be honest, everybody else is wherever my hand would not be on the camera. So like, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't in a structure that somehow was more competitive from a team standpoint, that you couldn't try to like balance out
Mhm.
what she is. You see what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, we can't get her, but we can moneyball this thing and piece it together. So like we lose that when you focus so much on the individual events. So because that's why we're even having this conversation. Who are the names? You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like that. Am I right? Like that's kind of why the conversation even sounds like that.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, maybe this could be the catalyst for something to come out of it, right? Maybe Grand Slam track evolves into some sort of team structure I mean, who knows what that would look like or if that would work, or maybe something else pops up and figures out the team structure. Maybe they give you the keys to build it out, right? And then we actually get some sort of team thing. Because it's a good point where, yeah, Shamir Little, Jasmine Jones, they're literally some of the fastest in history, but they're not going to get that recognition because it's so individual. So it's only all eyes are going to be on Sydney, regardless of what kind of
Yeah.
occurs.
Um,
So yeah,
Sydney has to not be herself to lose. Like that's what we're watching when a race where she's in. And again, there's a lot of places we could go, but okay, let's get back to the 100 and 200, which only had one name, which I love. I love Melissa Jefferson. I really do love
yeah,
it from coastal Carolina on down.
yep.
Because that first indoor 60 that she won, I was like, yo, I'm in your corner.
That's
But
your girl.
from that point down to where we are, like, okay, what other names do you want to see? We'll get to the name that we have to mention in a moment. Before we say that name, what other name do we want to see?
I mean, so one of them, I guess it could be interesting, but let's say someone like Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas could be a good name. She's obviously
For one,
very
two.
well. That's actually why I'm not sure, but that's a good point. Maybe she could do 2-4. So all right, Gabby's side. Let's say Julien Alfred. Julien Alfred
100%. Yeah.
and like compared to let's see DeBoho, Julien Alfred trains in the United States. She went to the University of Texas, right? So she's from St. Lucia, but I think American fans can at least appreciate her, and she's the Olympic champion. So
That
that's someone I
that
want to
woman
see
will
for
put
sure.
fear in the hearts of a lot of people, man. That woman
And we're
will put
talking.
fear in the hearts of a lot of athletes. Y'all don't want to see her. No, nobody want to
Listen,
see her on the starting line.
listen, and we're talking about 100, 200, right? We're not talking about just 100. Yeah, she got the 100-meter gold. She got the silver in the 200 too.
I'm
She's
telling
no
you,
joke.
don't nobody want to see her on the starting line. Like I'm just trying to imagine what that's like because the scoring system, what I do understand is that you kind of have to run both and you get
Yeah,
be valued out on both. So I'm like, man, y'all just gonna have to give most days you just got for the most part you just got to give the one to her because there's again right. That's okay. Now we'll say it. There's one woman in the world that I know of right now who realistically might join Grand Slam, but then again, realistically probably won't. And her name is Sha'Carri Richardson. So and we've
so
we've been
why
waiting for a while to say that name, but we said it
so
now.
why do you think what's realistically she will, realistically she won't? Like, what's your thinking around that?
I almost want to flip the question back around on you.
you
I
you
almost
can't
want to.
you can't say that and then flip it back on me.
Okay, so here's my thing. Sha'Carri Richardson's talent is undeniable. I got to put my disclaimers out there. Her talent is undeniable. And to be quite frank, the only person who can beat her is herself. I think I know that. I think you know that. I think the world knows that for the most part. And most certainly she does. But that said, the concern around when I with okay, like as far as like joining Grand Slam is Sha'Carri Richardson has like a mystique about her. That's the best word I could come up with. And it's an aura. It's a some people will call it a vibe. That's not necessarily my word, but that's some people might say. It's a little deeper than that because she's larger than the sport. The woman got last time I checked, there was over 3 million followers on Instagram. Not
Yeah,
because I care, but because most of the people don't care about track. If they did, they'd be watching the races. The views on the races don't match the followers. So what that means is she is bigger than track. She was Sha'Carri Richardson before she was ever at the Olympics and before she was at the Worlds. So as a result, when she showed up this year, especially after winning the Worlds the way she did last year, like where it doesn't matter what the story was before, all that matters is she was across the line first. The only thing she could do is fail to win. She couldn't win that gold. I'm just being honest. She could just fail to win because it was hers. In the mind of most fans who don't know anything about track and never actually watched her race. So with that in mind, like that's a very, very heavy weight to wear. So it's what I'm saying is like what's at stake when she steps on the track is a little bit different than anybody else. Because I don't think anybody else has that setup. If that makes sense. Like Sydney got her crown by winning. That's how she got
Yeah.
that crown. Sha'Carri got a crown before she won.
It's a good point. That's a good point. And Sydney was like a child prodigy. She was like literally she was like 16 making the Olympic Games, right? And came up. So we saw the progress. But it is true. Sha'Carri, she didn't make the Olympic Games yet. She didn't make a world championship team. She did have her career at LSU,
I
right?
mean, her
But
season.
well, yes, that's
And
true.
by her
Her
season, I'm not. I mean to interrupt you. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Sha'Carri Richardson got on the map because her indoor was spotty. It
Yeah.
was in that freshman. Remember, she only there for 1 year. So her indoor was
Yeah.
spotty, but she didn't make the NCAA indoor final in the 60. Didn't make the final in the two, if I remember correctly. And then, I mean, again, she was fast. And then outdoors, I mean, she ran the one and the two, and she was right there in both. But the thing is, with the one, I mean, it's that record though.
Yeah.
If the record didn't happen, if she just ran like a normal time, like a 10:98 or a 10:93 or a 10:95 with like a plus 1.7 wind and what, like, okay, fine, it's whatever. It's the record though, a record that I
Yeah.
thought Julian was going to take. I thought it was a foregone conclusion Julian had that record, especially after her indoor. And I
Yeah.
honestly think the only reason she didn't get it because she didn't get proper wind factors in her favor. But it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. I mean, hey, I mean, I guess she should have ran faster. So, I mean, I mean, I believe that from a star power perspective, and I think I'll hand it off to you on this, like she's supposed to be there. Grand Slam, but here's what I'm saying is Grand Slam needs her way more than she needs them.
Oh, of course. I mean, of course. Sha'Carri, because it's for all the points that you noted, where before track, she was popular. She had the most followers out of any current athlete, more than Sydney, than Noah, than Gabby, than all of them. And all of them got a lot more followers because of this Olympics. She had them, and she maybe just gained more even after getting silver. But because of all those reasons, all those people who have eyes on her, they're following her regardless of where she is, right? They're looking for Sha'Carri. If she goes to Grand Slam track, then they'll go. But if she doesn't, they're
They'll
going to
go where she's
go
at.
where she's at. Yeah. So
Could you
it's
imagine
true.
Atlos with her there?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Ah,
dude, like I was there and it was like already pretty crazy. I can't even fathom with Sha'Carri. Like some of these meets that I've gone to where Sha'Carri is there, just there, not even like doing a lot. She's just competing. Like it's crazy. So yeah, she is the draw. She absolutely is the draw. I do think there is part of me though that thinks, especially maybe it's because of this year, where of course she didn't win the gold and she was a little lower profile than last year. I think going into 2025, my mind is thinking if Grand Slam track doesn't get Sha'Carri Richardson, it's still perfectly fine. Because again, they could sign Julien Alfred, maybe TT Terry, right? Some others, and they'll be good. And then Sha'Carri maybe is like a challenger, but I don't know. But that could be my mind based on how 2024 went, where you know she didn't win gold. Not saying she had a bad season, but just saying like that full aura maybe wasn't as high as 2023 when she won gold. She was very much like way more in the public spotlight in terms of like her interaction. She did a lot of like, promotional stuff and like ads and like all kinds of stuff this year as well. But I don't know. That's my thought. So
I mean, that's fair, but like, I mean, remember, she ran the Diamond League final. I think the only reason she was in that final is because she didn't get the
oh,
gold.
see,
I
I
really
forgot about that.
like she ran like well, she was in the Diamond League final.
Yeah.
Like, and but like it goes back to she when I say she don't need it, again, if she go to Grand Slam, let's just play this game. Because see, I'll make a comparison. I'm gonna reach back to the men for a moment. No one needs Grand Slam in a different way because he actually is chasing greatness on the track. Like he want to be on the Mount Rushmore. He want to be the greatest of the great. And in only way to do that, you got to do stuff that people haven't done before. Winning Grand Slam, even if it's the first year it's ever happened, like, hey, I'm the first winner. What if he wins
Yeah.
the first three Grand Slam titles in a row? Something else to add to, especially if Grand Slam is a thing a decade from now, 15
Yeah.
years from now, where they'll be like, oh, whoa, he when that thing started, it was him. It was him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that makes a difference for Sha'Carri. Like, because the fans didn't come because she won.
Yeah.
They came
Yeah.
because she was larger than that.
Yeah.
It was everything else. So as a result, like she has to wager I'm just saying, like the conversations that are going to get had, I imagine, are a little bit different in terms of like what you want for your career. How much value do you put on this compared to whatever the world is still doing? I mean,
Yeah.
as far like, I mean, again, again, another conversation. Grand Slam needs to be the place where you have to go. That's how I
Yeah.
see it. It needs to
Yeah.
get there, and it got to get there relatively quickly. To be, this is the league where if you win this, it means something. I would even go so far as to say, it should be harder and mean a lot more, and pay you more, which apparently it will, to win
Yep.
Grand Slam than it does to do the Worlds. After a while, we can leave the World to all them college kids if we want to. We really don't need to bring our best athletes there. It's just not necessary because people look at the world as like a bootleg version of the Olympics anyway. And by people, I don't mean track fans. I mean like the non-track fans who tune in and jack up the views during the Olympics and then dip off.
Yeah. It's just so
Like,
true.
so like, cause those, like, it's clear that people like track and field. They just like it when they understand it. And when the worlds
Yeah.
happen, they're like, isn't this just a warm up for the thing they're going to do 3 years from now?
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it's true. There's that truth to it. I mean, I don't know though if, and maybe this is also kind of a separate conversation, but like you have the Diamond League, right? The Diamond League, it's still not required, right? A lot of athletes that we like, talking about Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, she barely runs the Diamond League, but they have at least some incentive structure where it's like, okay, if you win the Diamond League final, you get a wild card to the World Championships, right? So there's a piece of it that matters to a degree. If like you're not so good that you've already qualified, will something like that happen with Grand Slam track, or where it's like, okay, you run Grand Slam track and you get this like automatic bye to Worlds or something, or will it turn to like you said, this is the Premier League, like you win 4 slams, you are like the athlete of the year, you're the champion. I don't know.
I don't think it's radical to see that it has to become that. If it fails at that, all you've done is duplicate the Diamond League with more money going out and probably not enough coming back in.
Mm.
I don't again, I care about metrics. I care about numbers. I care about dollars and cents, and I run a small business enough to understand that the only way this works is you got to hit a grand slam.
Yeah.
A grand
Yeah.
slam is not competing against the Diamond League. It's not getting Diamond League fans to tune in. If you got to get all those people who watch the Olympics and care about it and take it seriously to actually feel like, you know what, now I have another reason to tune in. Like, and that's fair. If you
Yeah.
can, I'm not saying it's not possible. I realize that there's a path, and Michael Johnson has a vision, and he's walking that path now. And all the names we mentioned, but if Sha'Carri felt, if she feels, for that matter, that winning Grand Slam actually matters, where if you don't win it and you win other stuff, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's going to affect your legacy. That's the decision making factor that's happening right now. Like the 110 hurdles, guess whose name we don't see on the men's side? We don't see
Yeah.
Grant.
Don't see Grant. Don't see Grant yet. Who knows? It's
And
obviously
he
it could
runs
sign.
races. He ain't
He
afraid to
runs
run.
very frequently. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know we're focusing on the women, but I'm like, that's my bookend on the whole Sha'Carri conversation. Like, she's just such a unique
Yeah.
narrative right now
Yeah. I
in the
don't think
sport.
we've ever seen an athlete, at least not in my lifetime, that was like Sha'Carri. Because even Usain Bolt, he broke those records
Yeah,
before he got
he won
popular.
stuff before we cared.
Yeah, like and exactly. He had a pretty decent career before. He was running 19 seconds like in his career before he had medals before we knew him in 2008. But once he broke the records, that's when he got popular. But Sha'Carri on the flip side, yes, she broke the records in the NCAA, but she got popular before she stepped onto the world champs or the Olympic
Honestly, it
Games.
was, well, her first Olympic trials, that's really was the moment.
That was a moment. Yeah,
Like
that
that
was a
was the
moment.
moment where the explosion went from like you're a thing to the thing. And the thing is she became the thing. So
Yeah.
like Olympic 4x1, maybe we close this out here as far as like this whole discussion around her. But like Team USA underachieved for the women's 4x1. And I don't care how unpopular it is. I have a stopwatch and I have a calculator. And I know how fast these women actually are. I'm going to say it for the people in the back who don't understand what I'm going for. You really gave me the Olympic bronze medalist in the 100 You gave me the 5th place woman in the entire world in the 100. And then you gave me the Olympic gold medalist in the 2, running on a turn. So I don't want to hear it. And then you gave me Sha'Carri, the Olympic silver medalist in the 1. But before we get to her, remember, America was not in the front of the race on the splits by the time Sha'Carri gets that stick. Under no circumstances should that have ever happened. Every single woman I just named was faster than everybody who was on the leg they were running.
Yep.
Maybe we could say second leg. And I don't even remember who Great Britain was running over there. I said maybe. Whether because I think was it Daryl Nita who was anchoring?
Daryl Nita anchored, yeah. And Dean Asher Smith ran first. So it was
see, that's my point.
Somebody else.
My point. So, like, literally not one nation in the world had anybody. Matter of fact, the 2 women who we left off from our 1 and 2, like Mackenzie Long, Brittany Brown. You're trying to tell me not any other nation in the world wouldn't have given up at least one of their runners for them? Every single nation in that final would have been like, yo, you're not running today.
But okay, I mean, I hear you with the time there, but I don't know if is that what people remember though? If you break a world record, yes, but like I know that the U.S. women have won every gold medal, or not every gold medal. I'm sorry, they've made every podium at the Olympics and World Championships since 2011. I know that they broke the world record in 2012, but like I'm trying to see those medals. I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying, actually, you brought it up. Is that what people care about? Well, what do people remember of that 4x1? They remember Sha'Carri getting the stick, running past Germany, who she never should have been behind. They remember her running past Great Britain and looking over her shoulder.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. It's almost like they set the stage for her. That's how it feels. I wouldn't be shocked. I know this isn't what happened, but part of me in my brain, they were like, okay, look. Now, Sha'Carri, what you want us to do? Do you want us to like bust the race open? Because we got it like that. But you see, like, if you already ahead, they're not going to really understand what you got. So if we measure this just right,
they played it.
We could get you the stick and make it look like you dancing on them. Because here's the thing. They don't have her talent. Nobody on that anchor has her talent. It just is what it is.
Nah.
If it's even, she wins. If she's behind by less than 2 or 3 steps, she wins. The only way you beat her is you've got to be ahead, and you got to probably get, like a Daryl Nita or whatever. I would have to run like the anchor leg of her life while being ahead.
Yeah.
In order to maybe get it at the line, which is not what happened. So, I mean, I'm just like, my point is like, people remember that race, and like I think like even like the Diamond League final, nobody was watching. Like casual fans weren't watching. So like that's what we remember of her. That's the last time we saw her, as far as fans are concerned. The last time they saw her was that.
Yeah.
So they want to see that energy in this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And what I also like about, I mean, kind of combining, this can be the last thing too, of like Sha'Carri and then even Noah, there's still possibility that they can lose, right? This isn't a blowout like we were talking about Sydney from before, where it's like Sydney and then the field. Sha'Carri has lost. Noah has lost. Noah literally won by a hair. So that actually would be not only intriguing for Grand Slam track, having the 2 biggest names in the 100 and the 200 with Noah, and then of course with Sha'Carri in the 100, but then also the idea that, oh, these biggest stars could lose. Let me tune in, right? I'm somebody who doesn't know. I'm coming to watch Sha'Carri. Oh, wow. Okay. She could win, but she could also lose. Like that makes it a little more entertaining. So I don't know. We'll see. It'd be, as a track fan, I want to see them get signed, but if they don't, also, obviously I'm a track fan, so I'm going to watch. But I think also based on our comment, I understand the implications of like the wider landscape of like casual fans kind of tuning in. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot here, man. So
my name is Anderson from The Final Leg.
And I'm Coach Rob from SCA Track and Field. And thank you for watching this segment from The Finish Line.
If you want to know what's really going on at the high school and college level, be sure to subscribe to Coach Rob Track and Field.
And if you want more content on the best track and field athletes in the world, be sure to subscribe to The Final Leg.